Every story appears ordinary till you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is a story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Thank you for joining us on CoreTV News at 7. I am Frank Omalape, and here are some of the news stories at this hour. Suspected insurgents have killed the emir of Goza in Borno State, Idrissa Timta, in an attack along Tasha Alade in Biu local government area. The secretary to the state government, Baba Jida, made this known in a statement issued in Maiduguri. He says the three traditional rulers who drove in the same vehicle were on their way to Biu to pick the emir of Biu. The four traditional rulers had planned to drive in convoy to Gombe State to attend the funeral of the emir of Gombe, who was to be buried on Friday. The late emir was recently elevated to the position of a first-class traditional ruler by Governor Kashim Shettima. Meanwhile, President Goodluck Jonathan has declared a total war against terrorism as the country's security forces step up effort to rescue more than 200 schoolgirls kidnapped by the deadly Islamic sect Boko Haram 45 days ago. Jonathan says he is committed to protecting the nation's democracy, unity and stability in an address marking 15 years since the return to civilian rule in Africa's most populous country and largest economy.
I am determined to protect our democracy, our national unity, and our political stability by waging a total war against terrorism. The unity and stability of our country and the protection of lives and property are non-negotiable. I have instructed our security forces to launch a full-scale operation to put an end to the impunity of terrorists on our soil. The war against terror may be difficult, but the days of peace will come again. Terror is evil. Nowhere in history has evil endured forever. The menace of Boko Haram will surely come to an end. I believe that because of your prayers, your courage, hard work, faith, and sacrifice will ultimately prevail over the terrorists and all other evil forces.
The Nigerian authorities are set to offer amnesty to Boko Haram members. Minister for Youth Development Bonu Haruna gave this indication during a special event to mark this year's Democracy Day. He revealed that President Jonathan has already approved a series of integration for insurgents who are prepared to lay down their weapons.
The President Jonathan administration has also declared amnesty for members of the Boko Haram sect. Series of integration programs have been lined up for the members of this sect who will surrender their arms and embrace peace. Let me take this opportunity on behalf of the federal government to call on the members of the Boko Haram sect to embrace the government's gesture and key into the amnesty program.
The spokesperson for the nation's Department of State Security, Marilyn Oga, in an exclusive interview with CoreTV News, has slammed some Nigerian politicians for being economical with the truth in the battle to bring an end to the insurgency in the country. Oga, speaking on the sideline of the 26th Annual Conference of African Public Relations Association in Mauritius, admonished the politicians to unite behind the Jonathan administration against Boko Haram.
That terrorism was novel to the Nigerian society because, of course, you know that we are a carefree, free-minded, complacent people with all due apologies. We are people who enjoy our freedom. We are people who are free-spirited, you know, and all of a sudden, you know, a crime was creeping in and people still saw it as the responsibility of security forces and government. It wasn't all inclusive. people took themselves away from the crime scenes and only sat back to criticize and, castigate security forces and government, but failing to realize that in civilized climes where terror, is being fought, it took the collaboration of government, security forces, and the people to be able to ensure a free and safe society. For example, maybe a governor from a state that is not of the same political party with the president, instead of discussing security issues, will now begin to talk about failure of governance. And so you begin to wonder, that is all politics to me. You don't have to be in the same political party with the government or the president for you to be able to recognize security issues and treat them as security issues, devoid of sentiments.
As speculation, conflicting figures attached to the abducted schoolgirls that are being bandied around by Nigerians, and advise all to wait for the committees set up for the purpose to complete its assignment.
If we are definitive about the number, I want to know exactly where the numbers came from. Because, of course, above all, remember that as the president has set up a fact-finding committee to harmonize, because, you see, for the security agencies, we had a different figure. The government of Borno State had a different figure. The principal had a different figure. WAEC itself had a different figure. And, of course, the only true way you can say, okay, this figure tally with this figure was to set up a committee. And the committee is yet to come out with the exact numbers because, of course, it's expected to hear from parents of the adopted girls. It's only the parents that can say, yes, I had 2 children in that school and the 2 of them are missing. And then when they put all the numbers together, we can definitively say, okay, it is this number. But all we've been dealing and working on as speculative numbers.
Nigerian Nollywood stars have joined in the protest for the abducted schoolgirls. The film actors carried out a protest rally in Lagos, the latest in the ongoing Bring Back Our Girls campaign that have taken place in Abuja and other Nigerian cities since the April 14 abduction. The protesters marched to the Lagos State House of Assembly complex, where they asked the Speaker, Adeyemi Kuforiji, to forward their demand to Jonathan for appropriate action. In a related issue, a rival group to the Bring Back Our Girls coalition has taken over the regular protest site of the civil movement at Unity Fountain Park, Maitama, Abuja. The group, which goes by the names Release Our Girls, took to the streets ostensibly to join the global voices pressuring the federal government to take drastic steps to secure the release of over 200 abducted Chibok girls. The members of the group, who are mostly young boys, girls and middle-aged women and a few men, were believed to have been sponsored by government officials as they were daily brought to the protest site in Highland Basics. The Bring Back Our Girls group had engaged in street protest sit-ins and other public acts to draw global attention to the abduction for more than 3 weeks. The two groups reportedly clashed on Wednesday, breaking plastic chairs and almost exchanging blows. Governor Aliyu Wamako of Sokoto State has expressed optimism that Nigeria will overcome its current security challenges. He says that the country will surmount current problems to the same way it did with previous cases. Wamako made the assertion at the 2014 Democracy Day. He believes that since we were able to overcome the painful and bloody civil war, the menace of Odua People's Congress, militancy in the Niger Delta, kidnappings in the northeast, and the uprising and killings in the plateau, among others. He says with fervent prayers, Nigeria will overcome the insurgency in the northeast. The governor says that democracy had paid off in Nigeria in the past 15 years. Wamako emphasized the need for a united, peaceful and harmonious country, irrespective of religious, political or ethnic differences, saying that Secretary of State had remained peaceful because all Nigerians in the state are regarded as one. The National Industrial Court will on June 13 decide whether to go ahead with a suit filed by suspended Central Bank Governor Sanusi Lamido Sanusi to challenge his suspension by President Goodluck Jonathan. This was after Defense Counsel Michael Zekome had told presiding Judge Babatunde Adejumo that all the parties have filed an appeal against the decision to transfer the case to the court. He made an oral application for a stay of proceeding pending the hearing and determination of fit appeal by the appellate court. Justice Adejumo noted that Section 48 of the National Industrial Court Act empowers the court to hear motions before it, but decided to wait till the appeal court takes a stand on the matter. Zekome later told journalists that the Federal High Court ought to have struck out the case since it ruled that it lacked jurisdiction on the matter.
Sanusi feels that Justice Kolawole should have heard the matter, that he shouldn't have declined jurisdiction. So on that ground, amongst others, he's appealing to the Court of Appeal. He wants the matter heard by the Federal High Court in accordance with according to them, Section 251 of the Constitution. We, on the other hand, agree with the judge, Justice Kolawole of the Federal High Court, that he had no jurisdiction to hear the matter because of Section 254 of the Constitution, as amended, had overtaken Section 251 because Section 254 deals with matters concerning employment, labor, industrial relations, and trade union matters, and that Sanusi's appointment was employment related.
A federal lawmaker from Akwa Ibom State, Aloysius Etuk, is set to make the National Assembly nullify the controversial pension bill in the state. The bill seeks to grant annual pension in excess of 100 million naira annually to former governors of the state and their deputies. Etuk, however, insists that the bill is not proper and he is keen on working against its implementation.
On the trade and the economy of the people, and it should not be accepted, and therefore that House of Assembly should be ashamed of herself to have passed such pension law. You are not talking about the economy, the economic strength of a state. When you have about 5, 6 former governors with 5, 6 former deputy governors, look at how much toll that will take on the economic strength of the state, and somebody will do that. It is in fact, it's very, very shameful that even the governor will ask for such. It shows our arrogance, or the level of arrogance of the man behind the bill. Man, I think everybody, not only Kwaibumai, should condemn that in strongest term.
The responsible use of social media has been described as a boost to information dissemination across the world. This was part of the highlights of deliberations at the third day of the Africa Public Relations Association APRA 2014 conference holding in Port Louis, Mauritius. Ebolomo Adekule has more in this report.
The ongoing All Africa Public Relations Association Conference 2014 has provided the platform for public relations agencies across Africa to strategize on how to maximize potentials within the continent to bring about success in their area of specializations and the ultimate growth of the industry. Speaking on the second day theme of the conference, Digital Media, the Undisputable Future of Public Relations, Adekunle Ayeni, Chief Executive Officer for Black House Media Nigeria, and Loic Forget of La Sentinelle of Mauritius, says social media appears to be the fastest way to reach a larger audience across the globe and encouraged public relations practitioners to take advantage of its effectiveness to showcase their services.
We need to understand that mobile is king. It's king today, it's king tomorrow. He will be king for a long time. We need to build advocates for our brands on this platform. platform. Someone said something very, very fantastic here yesterday, that you don't even know if the people tweeting or speaking have a stake. They've probably been paid also. I can assure you that, for example, in Nigeria, in the social media space, there are camps and there are cliques. There are people who are in bed with some people, and you won't know.
Digital opens a global reach instantaneously. Instantaneously, anybody from anywhere across the world can refer to what you're looking at, when you're looking at it, when you're pushing it, and can refer to it for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. It is there. It's never going to go away. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, these are all platforms that can drive content instantly that we use on ground to distribute our information, our news. And in terms of PR, I think this is vital.
The call from some quarters to have social media content regulated by government received heavy knocks from INE, who emphasizes that it will be of no use.
There's nothing wrong with opposition using social media. Opposition is a good thing. We keep seeing it as a bad thing. Opposition helps a government in power to stay on its toes and make sure that they stay true to their manifesto, that they deliver what they need to deliver. Opposition is not supposed to be a detraction. It should be a reminder that, guys, you've not done this, you promised this, you promised that. So I've got nothing against opposition.
A statement credited to Marilyn Oga, spokesman for the Department of State Security Service Nigeria, indicating that most media organizations in the country are owned by members of the opposition who use them to discredit government's programs, drew INE's ire, who argued that it is a good development.
You cannot regulate the media. What needs to be done is people need to understand that you must say and do what you do within the confines of the law. Being on Twitter, being on Facebook, being on Instagram, being on LinkedIn is not an excuse to break the laws of Nigeria. If the president just gave a speech and I'm not impressed, then I'm free to say it without crossing the lines.
The social media has provided a faster platform of reaching out to millions across the world. However, it has recorded several abuses in recent times. Delegates to this APRA workshop have had fruitful deliberations on how a serious responsibility is heaped on the shoulders of operators of social media and how to responsibly maximize the uses of this form of communication. Ebulomo Adekunle, CoreTV News, Mauritius.
When News at 7 returns after the break, we'll tell you how pro-Russians shot down an Ukrainian helicopter, killing at least 12 soldiers. Details after this timeout.
From time immemorial, women have birthed life, shaped character, and by extension, influenced the society. Moremi of Ife, Emoten of Benin, Queen Aminat of Zaria, all women of influence and power.
Whether it's before election, after election.
How ironical. Women being so powerful, yet have few grounds in decision making.
They see you as a wife, and I see you as a wife to a man.
We are talking women in politics.
A woman will be bold enough to stand up and say, I want to become president of Nigeria.
Only on CoreTV News. Nigerians continue to
Tonight, the city of Lagos once again has all roots.
Be the first to know. From the north, south, east, west, and around Africa, we break the news.
We are one Nigeria.
Now you can catch all the actions live as the news breaks. We are CoreTV News.
Welcome to CoreTV.
A 24-hour news station.
Glad to have you back on CoreTV News at 7. For more information on our news and other programs, visit our Facebook page, www.facebook.com/CoreTV News. You can also follow us on Twitter at CoreTV News NG, and also on YouTube, www.youtube.com/CoreTV Space News. Outside Nigeria now, pro-Russian rebels have shot down a Ukrainian helicopter, killing 12 soldiers, including a general, in one of the biggest setbacks in Kiev's 7-week campaign against insurgents in the separatist east. The insurgents' success dealt a heavy blow to President-elect Petro Poroshenko's repeated promise to quickly stamp out a conflict that has threatened the very survival of the splintered ex-Soviet state. Separatists had earlier confirmed that they were holding 4 unarmed European monitors not far from where the helicopter was shot out of the sky with a sophisticated surface-to-air missiles. Fresh fighting is reported across large swathes of eastern Ukraine's Rust Belt as the violence that has already claimed more than 200 lives continued unabated. A separatist spokesman says the helicopter was down in a fierce battle that was still raging on the southern outskirts of Slaviansk. Well, and that's a wrap on CoreTV News at 7. Many thanks for watching. Frank Omanape. Don't forget to join us at 9:45 p.m. for our prime time news. Bye for now.